Hello everyone, welcome back to Ansarkari. In today's video, we will discuss the important newspaper articles from 17 September 2024. So the first article here is regarding the green energy. That is, lenders pledge $386 billion support for green energy. So again here this is regarding the private sector investment. जैसे कि Reliance, Adani Group, Torrent, NTPC, they announced additional renewable energy capacities. तो कैसे ये overall help करेगा? It will help in reducing the government's expenditure, the government's fiscal burden in terms of the capital expenditure that we discuss about green energy specifically. तो target कितना है? That is of 500 gigawatt by 2030. Currently, it is around 200 gigawatts, and further, we need to establish nearly 50 gigawatts every year so as to reach the target that is mentioned here to 2030. और किन किन एस्पेक्ट्स में है? सोलर मॉड्यूल्स में, सोलर सेल्स में, विंड टर्बाइन्स में, इलेक्ट्रोलाइजर्स में. These are all the areas where they will be set up. So there will be this renewable energy meet. So it happened at Gandhinagar. Next, Modi 3.0. तो जब हम Modi 3.0 की बात करते हैं, तो what are the key features of that? What are the major ideas? The largest one that comes to our mind is that of the digitization, how it has significantly helped. So Modi 3.0 sets a quick pace that braves coalition compulsions. So here this is majorly regarding the health insurance. So health insurance cover to senior citizens that will be above 70 years, irrespective of the income status. फिर further unified pension scheme. तो गवर्नमेंट ने broaden कर दिया है the social security cover for its employees. Further प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना, तो उसके अंदर भी building of houses. तो अगर हम देखें कि where are all these major schemes directed towards, तो they are directed towards a security of housing. इसकी बात करते हैं. Further health में insurance, and for the financial assistance or financial security के लिए we have this UPS. Next, PM government's 100-day work reflects speed and scale. So here again is regarding the Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet and Expo. Reinvest being its full form. So Modi noted that in the first 100 days, multiple decisions have been taken to expand the physical and the social infrastructure. और फिर जब हम बात करते हैं यूनिफाइड पेंशन स्कीम फॉर गवर्नमेंट स्टाफ, the 5 schemes to generate employment opportunities for 41 million youth. और इनमें reformatory steps भी हैं to support the MSMEs and key achievements of the Modi 3.0 government in the first 100 days. So it will be reflective of the speed and scale in the sectors necessary, mainly the renewable energy sector. तो recently launched scheme की बात करते हैं, तो here we have PM Surya Ghar Yojana. Apart from this, तो here this will be regarding solar energy. फिर बायो E3 पॉलिसी की हम बात करते हैं टू प्रमोट द बायो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. E3 का मतलब यहाँ पे क्या है? दैट इज ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट, एनवायरमेंट एंड एजुकेशन. फर्दर वंदे भारत ट्रेन्स, इंडस्ट्रियल सिटीज को सेटअप करना. These are all the major points that are covered here, major aspects. तो एक circular approach promote होगी along with lending support to startups to develop better technology related to reuse and recycling. The circular economy backward forward linkages. and better setting up of for raw materials as well. And data की बात करें तो in the last decade, India had generated 35% more electricity from nuclear energy as compared to before. Next, eighth economic census to be aided by AI. Completion likely in 2025. तो when we talk about the census, कैसे वो होना चाहिए, क्या उसका significance है, तो one aspect is that of when we consider कि क्या जो social status है, क्या जो caste है, whether that should be noted or not. Second here is regarding the use of AI in the um, conducting while conducting census. Third aspect was also that of ki whether the census should be enumered, यानी कि numbers हम count करें, और it should be data based like register based census, कि जो actually जो data already feeded है और जो update होता रहता है उसके regarding we can create estimates that will be financially much more beneficial. So AI is going to be used as a key tool going forward in many key surveys that will be conducted. So here again, valuable insights मिल पाएंगे into the geographical distribution, concentration of economic activities and ownership structures and workforce composition. तो बहुत ज़्यादा effortless and easy हो जाएगा काम. Next, creeping acquisitions to face CCI scrutiny. So again, Competition Commission of India is an important body and it keeps a check over the various companies, etc., so as to prevent the unfair practices that take place or unhealthy competition. So in the New Deal Value Threshold, DVT, that is Deal Value Threshold for mergers and acquisitions. So it was introduced by the Competition Commission of India, mainly for the startup deals. So they capture minority and creeping acquisitions. Creeping acquisition क्या होता है? They refer to a deal where the acquirer keeps buying stake in a firm in small tranches. Also, अगर जो acquirer है वो access gain कर रहा है to the sensitive information or getting to appoint directors, such a deal will require CCI norm. So, for instance, if the acquirer is gaining access to a commercially sensitive information or getting to appoint directors or can have material influence on the target company, so deal hai, it will no longer be considered exempt and hence will be required to be notified to CCI. तो इससे जो मिसयूज है इंफॉर्मेशन का लीकेज है ऑफ द कंपटीशन कंपनीज वो प्रिवेंट हो सकता है तो इम्पोर्टेंट रोल ऑफ CCI एन इम्पोर्टेंट टर्म हियर DVT that is deal value threshold and creeping acquisition, three key terms we understood it. Further, government to float company for startup promotion says Goyal. So again, this company Bhaskar, that was Bharat Startup Knowledge Access Registry platform in New Delhi. It was launched by the Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal. तो ये प्लेटफॉर्म क्या करेगा भास्कर प्लेटफॉर्म तो ये ब्रिज करेगा द गैप बिटवीन द स्टार्टअप्स जो इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं जो मेंटर्स हैं और जो अदर स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं जिससे कि जो ये सेक्टर है ऑफ बिजनेस ग्रोथ दैट कैन इंक्रीज मेजरली एंड हेंस अगेन ये मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर के लिए इट कैन बी अ वेरी गुड स्टेप तो भारत स्टार्टअप नॉलेज एक्सेस रजिस्ट्री तो फर्दर नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट कंपनी that will lead, this is a not-for-profit company and it will lead government and private initiatives in the startup space. तो better integration की भी हम यहाँ पे बात कर सकते हो of the government and private sector. Further, instead of big industry chambers, जैसे कि कॉन्फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडियन इंडस्ट्री, फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडियन चेंबर्स ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री, एसोचैम लीडिंग द न्यू इनिशिएटिव, स्टार्टअप्स कुड बी द स्टेक होल्डर्स। फिर हम सिडबी की भी बात करते हैं, स्मॉल इंडस्ट्री डेवलपमेंट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया। तो ये फंड को रन करता है फॉर फंड स्कीम फॉर द स्टार्टअप इंडिया प्रोग्राम। तो इसको भी इट कैन ऑल्सो मेड पार्ट ऑफ द न्यू कंपनी अलोंग विद द यूनिकॉर्न्स। Next, edible oil prices may jump 10 to 15%. तो edible oil की जब हम बात करते हैं, तो here again we majorly import the soybean oil, then the sunflower oil and palm oil. Sunflower oil mainly from Russia, Ukraine. Soybean oil we majorly import from the countries like Argentina and Brazil. And palm oil की बात करते हैं तो Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, etc. These are the major countries where we import oil from. फिर edible oil की बात करते हैं तो palm oil, तो that उसका प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज करने के लिए भी there have been specific scheme that was introduced by the government. Further we can talk about the ending the practice of monocropping, जिसमें हम अगेन ऑयल सीड्स को प्लांट करने की बात करते हैं एंड इवन मिलेट्स को ग्रो करने की. Further, when we talk about the import and export, तो edible oil जो है इंडिया का, इंडिया imports 60% of the edible oil of its consumption, 24 to 25 million ton. और जो 40% है सिर्फ वही हम खुद प्रोड्यूस करते हैं. Therefore, it is very important for self-reliance as well. तो अगेन प्राइसेस जो जम कर रहे हैं तो इम्पैक्ट विल बी ऑन कंज्यूमर्स. तो इसीलिए फिर अगेन प्राइसिंग डिसाइड करना इम्पोर्टेंट है एंड ऑल्सो रेगुलेशन रिगार्डिंग द प्रोडक्शन एज वेल. जैसे हेयर ड्यूटीज ऑन, फिर हम इम्पोर्ट की भी बात करते हैं. तो ड्यूटीज ऑन क्रूड पाम, सोयाबीन एंड सनफ्लावर ऑयल्स दे हैव बीन इंक्रीज्ड to 27% from the current level of 5.5%. There has been a significant increase. To 10 to 15%, the prices will go above in the upcoming weeks. इसमें देन अगेन बफर स्टॉक क्रिएट करना, उसकी हम बात कर सकते हैं. फर्दर प्रोसेस ऑयल वी कैन कीप इट फॉर द फ्यूचर यूज एंड एक्सपोर्ट इम्पोर्ट का बैलेंस करना. दीज आर ऑल द important ways by which we can settle down the inflation. Next, sophisticated arms in Manipur presents new challenges. तो जो हम बात करते हैं violence in Manipur, तो again we also read about examples कि कैसे there are also peace treaties that can be signed between the center and the state so as to curb these ethnic differences or such violent measures, such rebellious groups, insurgent groups that are present in the respective states. Further, creating such policies, etc., with by creating such committees, internal committees within the state, in which we can properly discuss and sort out the measures on the priority basis of the various sides. तो यहाँ पे again जो ये स्मगलिंग हो रही है ऑफ दीज वेपन्स, जैसे कि असॉल्ट राइफल्स लाइक M16, 18, M4A कार्बाइन्स, तो not in use by the Indian armed forces have made their way to the Manipur ethnic conflict. So from where are they getting these weapons? इसका regulation is important. Better check on the private firms who create such weapons. Illegal smuggling को prevent करना and search operations को take place करना by the security forces, particularly in the fringe areas that separate the Methi and Kuki homicides. So इन्हीं से there have been recoveries that have taken place. Also, better rallies, etc., can be done by the policemen or even the certain peace groups here so as to settle down these insurgent groups. नेक्स्ट अ टॉप प्रायोरिटी फॉर विकसित भारत। तो विकसित भारत की जब हम बात करते हैं, द डेवलप्ड नेशन, डेवलप्ड इंडिया, व्हेन वी डिस्कस अबाउट इट, तो व्हाट आर द मेजर रोड ब्लॉक्स? क्या क्या ऐसे चैलेंजेस हैं जो कि अभी करेंटली इंडिया को प्रिवेंट कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम बिकमिंग अ डेवलप्ड नेशन? क्या क्या ऐसे एरियाज हैं जहाँ पे हम ज्यादा फोकस कर सकते हैं सो एज टू स्पीडिफाई द प्रोसेस ऑफ बीइंग अ डेवलप्ड नेशन? So government and firms should prioritize evidence-based approaches on workforce health. तो here this is mainly regarding health, कि कैसे अगर हेल्थ में इम्प्रूवमेंट आएगी तो मेजरली जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है इन ऑल द एरियाज, दैट विल इनहांस। जो एक मेंटल स्ट्रेस रहता है, दैट कैन बी रिड्यूस टू अ सर्टेन लेवल। फर्दर द आउट ऑफ pocket expenditure that happens in terms of the middle class in India, that can be prevented, and majorly the vulnerable population, that are the around 500 million people in India, तो उनके लिए इट कैन बी वेरी मच बेनिफिशियल। मेजर वेज क्या क्या लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी को इन्हांस करने के? अगेन वी रेड अबाउट फोकसिंग अपॉन द प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी हेल्थ केयर, जहाँ पे जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर है उसका रोल इज इंक्रीजिंग, बट पब्लिक सेक्टर्स रोल शुड इंक्रीज फर्दर so as to prevent the out of pocket expenditure that takes place currently. तो पब्लिक सेक्टर का रोल इंक्रीज करना इन द प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी सेक्टर्स। फर्दर जो पॉलिसीज हैं या फिर जो गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स है, बी इट रिगार्डिंग द लेटर ऑन पेंशन की जब हम बात करते हैं उसमें भी, एंड इवन द हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, द गवर्नमेंट हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस दैट इज प्रोवाइडेड, तो उसके लिए भी इट कैन हेल्प सो एज टू enhance the productivity. But majorly it is important for the youth as well to focus upon them. So uske liye bhi there should be major steps that can be taken, be it regarding awareness generation or even a better education, better health and food facilities in the government schools. जैसे कि हम बात करते हैं मिड डे मील स्कीम की भी. Also, even the local public schools who have a certain level of income. तो below that income also threshold can be set, जहाँ पे जो government aided schools है उनमें भी there can be such provisions like midday meal schemes etc, nutritional focus. फर्दर हम आंगनवाड़ी सेंटर्स की बात करते हैं, जन पोषण केंद्रास की बात करते हैं, तो these are all the major areas where we can focus upon. बेटर डोनेशन, नोटो का रोल यहाँ पे आ जाता है, सोटो का रोल यहाँ पे आ जाता है, नेशनल ऑर्गन एंड टिश्यू ट्रांसप्लांटेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। तो बेटर रेगुलेशंस कैन हेल्प। फिर एएमआर की भी हम बात करते हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी इटसेल्फ, जो हेल्थ को इन्हांस करने के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है टू प्रिवेंट द एंटी माइक्रोबियल रेजिस्टेंस, तो प्रिस्क्रिप्शन एटसेट्रा ड्रग्स। फर्दर फार्मास्यूटिकल रेगुलेशंस की जो सिमिलर नेम्स हैं उनको ड्रग कंफ्यूजन को प्रिवेंट करना, ताकि जो प्रिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ रॉन्ग मेडिसिन है या फिर even at the chemist shops, the confusion it can be prevented. These are all the major steps that can be taken. अब अगर कंट्रीज में कंपेयर करते हैं तो लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी एट डिफरेंट स्टेजेस, तो बर्थ पे सबसे ज्यादा होती है। और लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी में व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द मिशंस लाइक स्वच्छ भारत मिशन, तो दैट आल्सो हैज हेल्प इन डिक्रीजिंग द maternal and the infant mortality. तो लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी एट डिफरेंट एजेस, तो हाईएस्ट एट बर्थ इंडिया की जब हम बात करते हैं एंड इवन इन अदर कंट्रीज एज वेल। फिर फर्दर जो गैप है बिटवीन इंडिया एंड लो इनकम कंट्रीज वो कम हो जाता है एज वी रीच टूवर्ड्स 55 ईयर्स ऑफ एज। लेकिन हाई इनकम कंट्रीज में इट इज स्टिल सिग्निफिकेंटली हायर एंड लीनियर। तो ये जो एरिया है ऑफ 35 टू 45 टू 55 ईयर्स, यहाँ पे रेगुलेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट। तो इससे बेटर अट्रैक्टिव स्कीम्स कैन बी प्रेजेंटेड फॉर हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस एज वेल। तो लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट की अगर बात करते हैं ऑफ द वर्किंग एज पॉपुलेशन बाय आईएलओ, वो 55% इन 2022, जो कि lower है from the other countries as well. So improving the workforce health will surely have positive impact on the labor force participation and productivity. फिर further ये industrial growth में भी it will help and productivity will increase. Because majorly जो GDP और development की हम बात करते हैं that is majorly constituted by GDP itself, इसलिए important है. And other sectors जैसे कि जब हम बात करते हैं कि sustainable development की and other areas like human development index HDI की जब हम बात करते हैं, so those are the other areas that include the health, education, etc. So better diagnosis and low health expenditures. So evidence-based policies are required to improve the workforce health. Next, better late than never. So the government has done well to wake up to shortcomings of the 2021 scrappage policy. So again, when we talk about the air pollution, so one of the major causes here is that of the using of the retired vehicles. जैसे कि जो हम pollution potential की बात करते हैं policies based on, तो ऐसी एक scrappage policy है which means कि the vehicles after a certain year of timeline जैसे कि 15-year-old commercial and 20-year-old private vehicles, they need to be they need to undergo mandatory fitness tests, and after a certain year after certain years जैसे कि जो हम बात करते हैं petrol vehicles older than 15 years and diesel vehicles over 10 years, they are not even allowed to ply on NCR roads no matter how well they work. तो ये भी बहुत important हो जाता है to check to have the pollution control test. Further, original equipment owners, they will have to give discounts on the new cars bought in lieu of the scrapped ones. तो अगेन बेटर यहाँ पे ट्रेड और रेगुलेशन हो रहा है सो दैट इन एक्सचेंज ऑफ द स्क्रैप्ड व्हीकल्स न्यू व्हीकल्स कैन बी बॉट. तो और ज्यादा एफिशिएंसी इंक्रीज करेगा और ज्यादा सेफ्टी इंक्रीज करेगा ऑफ द व्हीकल्स एंड एयर पोल्यूशन ऑब्वियसली विल बी द major reduction in air pollution will be the major benefit. So again, यहाँ पे also the article also suggests that instead of the current scrappage policy, there should be a move to regime which focuses on fitness of vehicles. To ensure this, tighter pollution norms and renewable of registration based on fitness is the way forward. Otherwise, if the vehicle is working very well and still if the individuals are selling it or disbanding it, so that might create issues and conflicts. Next, deficits, debt, and India's growth prospects. So again, when we talk about the regulation of the deficits and debt and economy की जो हम बात करते हैं, तो managing the public debt and deficits needs the kinds of rules encapsulated in the JP Morgan pillars. लेकिन जो इंडिया का attention है to the fiscal architecture has to encompass more. तो क्या क्या एरियाज है जहाँ पे हमें वर्क करना चाहिए जब हम बात करते हैं पब्लिक डेट और डेफिसिट्स की. तो सबसे फर्स्ट इज जो क्रेडिट मार्केट्स हैं दे रिक्वायर ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड मार्केट डिसिप्लिन कैन बी डिफिकल्ट इफ ट्रांसपेरेंसी इज पुअर और एब्सेंट. तो अगेन व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट कोलैटरल बीट कोलैटरल सो एज टू अवॉइड द नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट्स, तो इसीलिए ट्रांसपेरेंसी इज इम्पोर्टेंट एंड टू प्रिवेंट द कंडीशंस ऑफ write offs or waive offs. These are the reasons why transparency is important for the credit markets. Further, when we even talk about the NBFCs, unko also the better regulation by SEBI and of course of the central and the government banks. It is important. So India's government debt जो है, it is about the highest it has ever been. 82% of the GDP. This is down from the post-pandemic high, लेकिन still it is higher than historical average. तो जो स्टॉक ऑफ डेट है वो मेजर डिट्रीमेंट होता है ऑफ द इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट्स टू बी मेड। तो जो हायर डेट लेवल्स है वो इंटरेस्ट रेट को भी इंक्रीज करते हैं एंड हेंस क्रिएट ए नेगेटिव फीडबैक लूप। तो हेयर अगेन जो जीपी मॉर्गन इकोनॉमिस्ट है, दे ऑफर री-इमेजिनिंग ऑफ इंडियाज फिस्कल आर्किटेक्चर built on 5 pillars. क्या क्या 5 pillars है? फर्स्ट इज अगेन फोकसिंग ऑन द consolidated debt GDP ratio rather than annual fiscal deficits, ताकि जो रेशियो है उसके अकॉर्डिंग वी कैन मैनेज। Second is deciding how reducing this ratio by 5 to 10 percentage points. It should be shared between center and the states. So again, here we can talk about the federalism or the center-state relations and coordination. Fourth is introducing market discipline. Third is establishing the risk-based fiscal rules for the state. And fifth is using business cycle adjusted targets over multiple years. So again, majority of the areas में it is the stakeholders that are considered. Center state की हमने बात कर ली, business cycle की बात कर ली, and also consolidating the debt GDP, debt to GDP ratio. So these are the major ways. So they are much larger federal system of public expenditure and revenue collection. इसमें they can help.
So here we can say that RBI regulation and Basel norms implementation, then the role of 16th Finance Commission, GST Council and the reforms that we've been talking about, which in all new areas they are being discussed and debated, and then role of even FRBM Act is very important here.
Next, why GST isn't always good or simple. So what is goods and services tax? तो again GST is an indirect tax जिसको हम regressive tax भी बोलते हैं, introduced with effect from July 1, 2017. तो various amendments हुई हैं and the law got evolved from time to time. तो different GST rates across food articles. तो again here जो meeting हुई थी at Coimbatore based restaurateur pointed out the difficulties faced by businesses due to multiple rate structure under the GST regime. So this is the major challenge here that is issued here by the food and beverages industry. तो आटा एंड पल्स की जब हम बात करते हैं तो अनब्रांडेड आटा इज नॉट सब्जेक्ट टू जीएसटी while branded packed आटा has 5% GST rate. With a vegetable oil maybe 5% GST rate. So vegetables they are not generally taxed under GST. Dairy products की बात करते हैं तो 5% GST rate and 12% on cheese, butter, ghee. For the namkeen biscuits bakery तो different है यहाँ पे. They add to the complexity of classification and compliance. Other challenges की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो one is regarding the multiple rate structure. Other challenges में also the standalone restaurants. They are charged a GST of 5% without the option to claim input tax credit. तो मांजरी can you please highlight कि input tax credit क्या है उधर?
So it is a measure in GST model through which we have been talking about that one of the major benefits of implementation GST has been that it has removed the cascading effect of taxes. So input tax credit is a form of reimbursement of certain amount of tax, which is calculated on the basis of how much and the way you have paid the taxes. If you had paid already the tax on procurement of a certain raw material, so you will get a reimbursement of that. So that is how properly it is calculated. It is a complex process, and this is again its utility. And second reform that it has been mentioned here is that we can simply classify the food group into three categories. One is the essential food items, where we can include the fruits and vegetables. Second would be convenient group, and third would be the luxury items. So this would be much more easier to again comply with also, and also easier on the part of consumers, your businesses to understand.
Next, overuse of antibiotics led to 60% of the sepsis deaths in India, Lancet study. So again, when a 60-year-old patient with leukemia was admitted to the emergency department with high fever and low blood pressure, he was immediately started on broad spectrum antibiotics. लेकिन जो drugs हैं, they didn't work, complicating the condition. So later on, so blood culture, it revealed a drug-resistant Klebsiella infection, which required a combination of drugs to bring under control. So antimicrobial resistance, again, we have been discussing since long about this, कि कैसे, how it is a major challenge, especially that occurs due to diseases like tuberculosis, etc., where the patient, they either take incomplete drugs or they create such gaps or regular drugs नहीं लेते जिससे कि the antigens again they create the drug resistance. तो here अगर हम डेटा की बात करते हैं तो overuse of drugs or also these cases here, तो ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शंस जो हैं ये भी इससे डिक्रीज हो जाते हैं. Further, when we talk about AMR, so AMR is anticipated to worsen in the upcoming decades, with the Lancet predicting that more than 39 million people around the world could die from AMR infections over the next 25 years. So, Lancet study. This was study based by the Global Research on Antimicrobial Resistance Project. It's the first global analysis of antimicrobial resistance.
So when we are talking about the spread of non-communicable diseases, we often miss out on AMR as a disease. So this should also be kept in mind that as a part of non-communicable disease, this is also going to be a growing challenge. And here we can say that the role of CDSCO will become very crucial. India being again, we have the vision of being the world's pharmacy. So we need to again regulate the proper standards, the availability of the medicines, even on the part of the shops which are selling or the chemists which are selling the medicines. So here we see that recently also this was announced that doctors they would be prescribing only the generic medicines and not the branded medicines. That was on the part of that it will reduce the out of pocket expenditure. And secondly, there was again a mandatory condition implied that the chemist they can only sell the medicines when the consumer, the patient, is having a prescription for that, so that we can stop the wrongful use of the medicines or the excessive use of the medicines, because we often have this natural tendency to have these simple antibiotics on our own. We go and we get them very easily. So this has also led to this issue.
And also one of the measures regarding this was also controlling the quality of the medicines. So uske regarding me there were reforms that were created. And one was also regarding the prevention of using the same similar names of similar types of drugs of different companies. So that should also be
हम्म
prevented.
हाँ, so इसमें combination drugs जो हम पहले बात भी कर चुके हैं,
Hmm.
that can also be one of the solutions.
Hmm. Next, government may earmark 6,000 crore for precision farming. तो again when we talk about target based policies, तो इसी वे में अगर हम बात करते हैं even in terms of agriculture, target based when we talk about fertilizers as well. Similarly, the use of smart technology जैसे कि Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, drones and data analysis, तो that will boost the production, जिससे कि productivity enhance होगी in the agriculture through maximal use of resources while minimizing the environmental impact. जो cost burden on the farmers, even that will decrease. जैसे we also discussed about the district centers that can be created for the better regulation management and tracking of the weather events. So these are all the major ways जिससे कि prediction में भी help होएगा. Even the fertilizers, what are the devices that will be used, better tracking, and even regarding the crops में कितना production हो रहा है, etc. That can further collaborate and coordinate with the policies so as to prevent the consumer bias in the agriculture sector. तो मिशन की अगर बात करते हैं तो हॉर्टिकल्चर प्रोग्राम के अंडर ही जो कि एग्जिस्ट करता है अगेन द MIDH मिशन फॉर इंटीग्रेटेड डेवलपमेंट ऑफ हॉर्टिकल्चर स्कीम इज लर्न्ड। तो अगेन एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड, तो उसमें भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे फोकस करना इन टर्म्स ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर। दीज आर ऑल द मेजर वेज हियर।
And other stakeholders is farmers, producer organizations, primary agriculture credit societies. When we're talking about the grassroots level availability of the financial services to the farmers in a formal manner, and SHGs. So they are even eligible for the loans. And then we have the priority sector lending on the part of the regional rural banks or RRBs, and SHG linkage bank linkage program has also been run. Then we are using again how we are mechanizing or technology led agricultural practices. So in that we can say one of the examples is precision farming. So it will help in terms of reducing the cost of cultivation, increasing the productivity, increasing the efficiency, making the agriculture climate smart. And it is like also mentioned, like we'll be using blockchain technology, artificial intelligence in agriculture. We have seen that with the use of drones, almost 80 to 90% wastage of the pesticides and fertilizers will be reduced. So you can imagine the scale of cost reduction. So it will be at the same time boosting the farmers' income also.
Yes. Next, Samsung strike. Can it crash Tamil Nadu's dream? So again, Tamil Nadu dominates India's electronic exports with a 34% share. Textiles में भी हमने बात करी थी कि how Tamil Nadu dominates. तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक एक्सपोर्ट्स में भी 34% शेयर है। दिस हार्ड वन डोमिनेंस इज एट स्टेक एज सैमसंग इंडियाज वर्कर्स दे स्ट्राइक at its Sri Perumbudur unit and refuses to die down and risks spreading to other units. तो इश्यूज क्या क्या इन्वॉल्व है यहाँ पे कि व्हाई आर द वर्कर्स ऑन स्ट्राइक? तो अगेन दे सीक हायर वेजेस एंड बेटर वर्किंग कंडीशंस। तो इवन व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द वर्कर्स प्रोटेस्ट, तो सिंस हिस्ट्री आल्सो जब हम बात करते हैं कि इवन ड्यूरिंग द कॉलोनियल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन देयर वर फैक्ट्री एक्ट्स दैट वर क्रिएटेड। जैसे सबसे पहला वाज इन 1881, फिर 1891 में और फिर 1911 में। तो 1891 वाला जो था फर्स्ट दैट it decreased the working hours of women to around 12 hours, if I'm not wrong, 11 or 12 hours, and of children to 7 hours. And 1911 mein, it was done for men, where it was reduced to maximum of 12 hours. So break was also provided. Also, in the past, we also read regarding the Amazon facility. कि वहां पर भी there were strikes because the workers they weren't allowed to even go to the washrooms and spend much time here or talk even while the work. तो जब हम बात करते हैं कि the factory it produces washing machine refrigerators and accounts for 30% of its $2 billion revenue in India. So it is operating with skeletal staff. Further, are work conditions that bad in the sector? So again, there have been examples of poor working and living conditions in the past. So Foxconn facility, hostel facility, maybe we had seen such cases. So here, labor codes they become important. Further, having better facilities at the working conditions themselves, they also become important. Proper break time and meals also they must be provided to the individuals.
And also, we have talked recently that shift from minimum wage to living wage will be very crucial in terms of even enhancing or providing decent standard of living, ensuring that the living wage is more in sync with the indexed, as far as it is taking into consideration the impact or the rise of inflation also, so that the real wages are actually increasing. And apart from this, we can talk about the decolonization of the Factories Acts. Here we can say that how the modern changes or the structural changes which are happening in terms of the labor force or the way of working should be a part of the Factory Act. For example, when we talk about the increased usage of the casual workers, or even when we're talking about gig economy as well. So that should be made a part of the Factories Act as well.